Because there's people in my family, man, that will not talk to each other now over a political ideology, over just the simple fact they vote Republican or Democrat. I don't want to play any part in that, man. I don't want to have an opinion on that, and I certainly don't want to be that tied to an ideology that it makes me not talk to a loved one. That seems nuts to me.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome to Hustle and Heart, where we could confront hard issues like addictions and failure. Here to give you all the jewels you need to treasure your life. I'm your host, William Hustle, here with my brother, Big Pat.
Yeah.
We're continuing this Get It Out series. And on this episode, we'll be talking about finding common ground in different views. Let's get it. So, you and I, number one, we have a lot of views that we agree on, but we also have other views that we don't agree on. But it has never caused any conflict.
No.
And it is because the common ground.
Well, there's a you're my brother. I love you. We have that first and foremost.
His brother's on common ground, nothing.
Yeah, I think right away though. You know, you
real recognize real.
Yeah, and you see that regardless of, you know, hey, I believe this, or we're what I call the universe, you call God. You know, your family and
I call Father.
Yeah, but most importantly, though, we both have the common want to help people and to not only bridge the gap between differences that people have, but I think also shining a light on the circumstances that bring people to where we're at right now in our lives. I mean, we've definitely seen things in a different way and done things in a different way.
Believing in universal law and power, it's no different than being a Christian, a Muslim, whatever religion.
Right.
It's what you believe out there that's higher and bigger than you. So, you know, I studied universal law. I grew up a Christian. As I got older, I got into Rastafarian.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was incarcerated, Islam is what started to give me a little more understanding of not wanting to hurt other people by any means, by choosing and living that way of life. So Islam it has helped me a lot.
And I would argue with anyone, as far as religion goes, the underlying theme of any religion, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but in my understanding, it's love.
It's love.
And if you're, you know, whatever someone finds, and whichever way, whichever path it takes you, they used to say many roads lead to Rome.
That can help you make better decisions with a better understanding.
Absolutely. And many roads lead to love. And that's why I tell everyone, you know, it's hard for me to believe that, you know, somebody that a very loving Muslim that does everything that he has to do his whole life, takes care of his people, takes care of his family. Same thing if a Jewish person does the same thing, or a Buddhist or a Christian. You can't tell me that if they've always been you know, centered in love, that there's any
that their way of thinking is wrong.
You can't, and I'll never ever believe that. So, but again, I always try to, like I tell everybody, I don't deny any religion, but I don't accept any religions either. You know, so
but that's because as long as we never decide to understand and find the common ground, then that means we will always be at war, looking at the other different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that's why we got to wake up.
Right.
We got to wake up. Democrats and Republicans have a lot less to agree about, even with Trump out the office. So, again, here, another president. What is going to change?
I don't personally. This is so. This is funny because Will first approached me about the second part of this, which is the common ground, which we're doing tonight. And my first thing was he wants me to be a political activist or sit there, and I don't vote, and I'm very proud to not participate in that system because I feel like it is a broken system. I feel like when it takes $16 billion between both campaigns for a president to be elected, then you can't tell me that there's not special interest groups or somebody pulling the strings there. So again, people, there's no term limits on senators, and people are retiring multi-millionaires when their salaries are only $145,000 a year. It just doesn't add up. It seems like it's it's definitely something where corruption and greed, in my mind, have overshadowed what the original intent was. And being a history major, every empire comes to an end.
Help guide the people.
Yeah, so
at some point, the people are going to have to take control.
You have to. When
of our own
it
lives.
even says it when a government becomes tyrannical. That's in our Constitution. We have the right to overthrow that government. And I'm not saying overthrow the government, but I am saying that we definitely have to stand up as a people and question that is the process befitting us, suiting us still.
Everything, everyone have their good and bad. It's like now, okay, boom. So Trump out of office, but people like us now, we about to be paying half our paychecks in taxes.
I know.
So it's a lot of things come with it. It's the social climate seems to be getting worse. It's March.
I think a lot of things have contributed. You have a perfect storm. I think when people can live their lives normally, when this passes, this pandemic passes, but you have people whose lives were turned upside down, and then on top of that,
upside down,
and then you're getting a constant feed of negativity from a news source that you're wondering how this is going to come to an end, what's going on. And I think more fear gets passed on to people now through the news than any type of helpful information. It's strictly fear mongering. Right. I mean, it just seems to me. That's another thing I don't do. I really try to pride myself on never watching the news. You don't hear feel good stories on there.
When you have your vision captured by whether it's a news, internet, anything other than what you need to be trying to achieve and figuring out how to achieve more.
If it doesn't suit you, if it's not helping you grow, what are you doing?
They already winning.
And the again, the inability for people to go out and live their normal lives, I think, causes more of a hostile atmosphere. I mean, I do feel we haven't had a year like 2020 in a long time where people were just confined to their houses, weren't allowed to leave, weren't allowed to see loved ones, and that adds to an already sometimes hostile climate. I mean, this is the stuff you do to combat the other stuff. You always try to be positive. You try to be optimistic. You try to always be loving, understanding, and empathetic. And you counteract a lot of the other craziness that's out there in the world.
And financially, you have to do things to not be able to be taken down from a disaster, because this was a disaster.
Yeah, but and again, what people's beliefs on it, one way or another, are. Sometimes
this is not a universal God thing.
No, but there's just policies, I think, being implemented just for the sake of policies without science, and I think when that happens, you get unrest. It's just a natural instinct with anybody. I mean, you've seen how we've revolted and reacted in the past over certain government control or even breaking away. Our whole country was founded on revolt.
And hey, throw it out there, but this is why people must vote, man.
And again, I just feel like my life's more peaceful without it. And again, I would never, ever, ever want to influence anyone to make any other decision other than their own. I feel like my life is healthier, more peaceful without that. Because there's people in my family, man, that will not talk to each other now over a political ideology, over just the simple fact they vote Republican or Democrat. I don't want to play any part in that, man. I don't want to have an opinion on that, and I certainly don't want to be that tied to an ideology that it makes me not talk to a loved one.
Yeah.
That seems nuts to me.
Now for our quote of the day.
There it is. There it is. All right.
On point.
So today's quote of the day: assumption and lack of communication are the number one relationship killers. We all perceive differently. We've lived different lives. We have different views. Understand that before getting angry at someone for not believing what you believe.
Period.
And that is
Point blank.
that's it. We have to be open-minded, man. We have to be understanding that each of us have a different path. If we all believe the same thing, we wouldn't be human. We'd be
human.
We'd be robots. So we all have to continue to remember that and just strive to not have this going through life with blinders on, like our way is the only way.
You do not have to believe to be considered a good or bad person. You're either a good or bad person. Period. Point blank. Don't necessarily have to do with how you believe and look at life. Like I say, I never would have believed that out of the things that I've believed in my life, that Islam would be the one to make me take my thinking back and look at things different as far as how I felt about doing whatever to a person out in them fields. But let's get to our caller. But that's always the bottom line to everything is if you believe here, there is wrong. You know, it's good and bad, and those things will never change. So let's get our caller on the phone. Who is our caller for today? Do you got it, sir? Do you have it, brother?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello, sir. May we speak to Zach?
This him?
Hey, Zach, what's going on, buddy? It's
Hey. As soon as you started talking, I knew who it was.
Yeah.
What's going on, Zach?
Not a whole lot. What's up, Will? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, brother. Appreciate you being on the show today.
Oh, no problem. It's an honor. Trust me.
What?
Zach, tonight we are, especially with the, the atmosphere right now, especially in our country, there's a lot of divide. I think that's fueled by a lot of different outlets, be it media, whatever. But there's a lot of different views, and our whole topic tonight is finding,
common ground.
Common ground when people have different views or especially different beliefs. Especially, do you feel the personal battles that you've overcome help you understand or empathize with others more?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, here recently, some things that I've experienced has been able to help somebody else or, let me understand their viewpoints a little bit more. And, I think I'm pretty sympathetic to a lot of people's beliefs and stuff. I know mine are kind of obscure, so, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think coming down the path that both of us did, as far as both of us recovering from addiction, we both had to admit at some point that our views weren't right. So, at least from my point of view, it makes me a little bit more understanding to everybody else's stuff, because I'm constantly reminded that, well, man, I thought a certain way for 25 years and that shit almost killed me. So, knowing that the change that we had to go through in our own beliefs just to get to this point, do you feel like you're, as far as when it comes to other people, whether it be, religion, or they believe in God, you don't believe, or you believe in God, they don't. And I know that's a big part of the programs too. But do you feel like that gives you a little bit more insight and understanding?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I've I mean, especially when it comes to like religion and stuff. I mean, been a Christian pretty much my whole life, but I mean, I can see other people's viewpoints on, why they believe certain things. I've actually got a buddy that's a Satanist, and he just doesn't believe in a God. So,
Pat is the
I
same
mean,
way.
I'm not. First off, here, I'm not a Satanist, so, and that's cool. I understand what you, but I want to put that out there. I'm more
oh,
along lines of a Buddhist, but again, though, if somebody treats you with love and kindness, I really don't care what they want to label themselves as. And I would believe, Zach, just knowing you how I know you, that you would feel the same way. But just I wanted to clear that up just a little bit because Will was piggybacking on top. Well,
No, I mean,
Pat's a
we
Satanist
were
too.
speaking on it, so
Yeah, he said.
and I mean, he believed, universe, but
Yeah, he
he
said
does not believe in
not,
God.
not like that. No, I do believe in the universe created all of us. But anyway, Zach, sorry to interrupt your story there. Pick back up where you were at. You were saying your friend who is a Satanist. What was your common ground with him?
I mean, just treating people, with respect and love. I mean, well, once I sat down and talked to him, I mean, our first conversation was like 4 hours long, and I mean, it was a great conversation, and I mean, I'm trying to think of the way he breaks it down.
Can you still have love as a Satanist? Is it as a Satanist? Would it not
Yeah,
breed?
he loves Satan.
So he
Oh
loved.
no, well, that's the thing is like, and
Because if
I'm
there's
not.
still love, then I would say that there's always a common ground, a bridge that can be you can bridge any gap if there's love in the belief system, however you want to label it.
Yeah, I mean, like he's a very nice, loving person. I mean, and really, what shocked me is, you know, people label themselves Satanists. It's not that they actually believe that in Satan or anything like that. They just don't believe in a God.
Okay.
So,
I think that
they
might
do.
be Pat, man. I think that might be Pat, man.
Oh shit.
I think that
I
might
mean, Pat, what's really going on, bro?
I'm telling
Right.
you, man.
This is hey Pat, we're calling you out, man. Yeah.
Hey, this is an intervention, bro.
Right.
This
It
is
Yeah.
is.
This
Well,
you
I
guys
mean,
got you
a
guys
lot
got
of our
me.
common ground has been has been spoken on religion,
Yeah.
and
So
he got it.
so
His mom told him something we're gonna talk about later.
yeah, so the
oh,
yeah, no,
Yes, sir.
oh,
my mom had brought up she said I wish you believed how I believed, and
And how did she believe?
she's a Christian.
Yes, sir.
She's a Christian, but and that's how that's where my mom's faith and hope and love comes from. But I truly think, especially, and I think you might be able to understand this a little bit better, Zach, but when we've been to the darkest places and been that close to death, you realize that at some point, at least for me, I realize that I'm in charge of my own salvation or my own demise. The energy that I put into thinking, feeling, being, whatever energy that is, that's going to manifest out into the world around me. So it was easier for me, especially after I went through the AA program for a year, and it bothered me just simply because it seemed like in the program they help so many people get help from that program, but this is just, and again, I know that you have your beliefs on this too, and I would never knock anything that helps people. My opinion though became that I was always going to have to label myself as broken in that program. And to truly heal, I needed to look within and continue to grow and to continue to just cultivate love, love for myself that would then spill over and everything else would fall into place. That's what has worked for me. But in no way am I saying that if you need to get off of drugs and alcohol, you should not use a 12-step program, because there's people that are saved every day by AA and NA and the other programs. So I'm never taking that stance. It's just it was easier for me to look within and almost treat myself as my own God, because once I loved myself enough, everything did fall into place, because I no longer wanted to destroy myself.
Well, you are a reflection
Right.
of him. So, we just
Go-
trying to,
did you-
find some common ground in it.
Were you going to say?
One
Go ahead.
one of the biggest things that like helped me, so I went through like a couple of discipleship programs that really changed my whole outlook on life. I mean, I got baptized again back in 2017 or 18.
Okay.
And, I mean, I really struggled with, when I went into the rooms, labeling myself an addict or an alcoholic, because, when I found this new life in Christ, you don't refer to yourself as, an addict or an alcoholic. Yeah, I used to be that, but that's no longer a part of my life.
Right.
And, I mean, that kind of sounds like where you're at with it, Pat.
Yeah.
And,
It's funny you said. It's great that you said that, but that's absolutely. And to stay in those programs, you continuously have to label yourself as broken. And I had a problem with that personally, and I had to separate myself.
You decided not to be broken no more.
I couldn't be. I could no longer label myself an
Yes,
alcoholic,
sir.
because
Right.
I'm not an alcoholic anymore, dude. I just sat today at the bar with the girl I'm dating. She had a green beer. I had no urge to have a beer. So I can no longer identify myself as an alcoholic, and I won't, because I'm not. I don't have the urge to be that person, and there's a 100% chance I'll never drink the rest of my life.
Period. Yo, your decision.
But it's my choice. And I'm not sitting there at the bar, like sweating, dude. Like, oh my God, they're having green beer. I mean, like, I just sat there and had an iced tea,
Why
and
do
I
you
was
have
cool.
a green Sprite?
No.
Right.
I just didn't need anything green. I don't want to drink dye. I was silly. What the hell? I think it's a government ploy to poison people, is all that shit is.
Have a green Sprite.
A bunch of people eating green dye. Do you have issues, finding common ground, or like do you ever catch yourself like, well, man, if they don't believe that, then there's just no way they're going to heal. There's no way they're going to get to where they need to be, or are you pretty open minded to everybody's unique path to recovery and healing?
So, I mean, all right. One of the things, I've been on maintenance for a while, and I have a lot of buddies that are anti-maintenance,
Yeah.
and I mean, they would always tell me, we don't believe in that, blah blah blah, and I was really against it, but I was seeing how much they were growing compared to where I was at, and I mean, that's actually most of the reason that I'm getting off of it. I might not agree with somebody's views at first, but like, give me a little, I stew on stuff. So,
Yeah.
I'll usually like sit there and think about like, man, why is their viewpoint like this? And then I usually come to like a middle ground where I'm like, okay, I mean, I get it now. I understand that I might not agree with it, but I can respect where you're at. And, I mean, I don't really clash with people like that. I mean, I have had times like, political stuff that I've clashed with people, but then I've looked back on it and I'm like, wow, I understand where you're at. I feel like all the stuff that I've gone through, as far as addiction and all that stuff, that helped me usually get to that point, where I can respect people's viewpoints. I mean, I used to not be that way at all.
Yeah.
A lot of us.
Yeah, but if we can make it out, If me and you can make it out, and so few of us make it out, and you see another person who's actually trying to go against the grain, and then they make it out too. I think it definitely, at least in my mind, as a as a former addict, it makes you have a very sympathetic and an understanding heart. You really want to try to see their point of view, because I'm very open to, we each have our own path. We each have a path that are going to lead us to our happiness, our joy, our best self.
Oh yeah, I feel the same way, 100%. I mean, I feel like that's why we have a lot of miserable people right now, is because everybody just has their viewpoints and doesn't want to see the other side at all. I mean, you look at the
Absolutely.
U.S. right now. I mean, that's why we have such a divide. Is especially the Trump and Biden stuff. Like, um, people don't want to see the good that either one of them's done.
Keep
So,
us against each other.
And there's definitely
right, that
there's definitely good on each side. Although I do feel the political system is broken, there's good Democrats, there's good Republicans, and that's just the bottom line. There, unfortunately, is just the system that's I think needs to be redefined and restructured.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, just like Will said, keep us divided. Like, I mean, can you imagine if we were all united?
Oh,
And
nobody wants that.
yeah, I mean that is their plan, is to keep us divided.
Period.
Keep hatred, blooming and stuff.
It's easier to control when people are divided, and that's why we do this show too. I mean, it's about
Yeah.
common ground, and it's about shining a light on not only different views but different beliefs, and making people understand that it's a better world out there when we're open to not just what we believe but what someone else does, and what they hold dear as well. When there's more of that understanding, it just makes a better world.
Right, I agree 100%. I mean, I wish everybody in the world could be, open minded. It would really help the world right now at the state that we're in, especially this nation.
All right, and we are once again, man. We appreciate you being on the show. This you was on the other podcast the first time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
this
is a different one. So we want to appreciate you for being on both of them for us, brother.
really.
Oh, I enjoy it. Like, sorry, I'm exhausted. By the way, I
Oh
wake
no,
up
you
at
good,
4
man.
a.m.
Buddy, you're
But
good, man.
yeah, I love being on the show. I love talking to you guys. It definitely brightens up my day for sure.
We
Hey,
enjoy having
we
you on.
enjoy having you on, bro.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right, man. You go ahead and get to sleep. No, you gotta be up first thing in the morning.
Hey,
Oh yeah, I am. Trust me.
have a great day tomorrow, man. Much
You
love.
too, guys.
All right. So that was good, man.
That was Zach.
That was Zach. But a lot of good points, especially when it comes to political or even just religious beliefs.
Just period life.
You gotta be open minded, and that's the thing that I think.
Man, life is about love or hate.
You got to choose one. It's
Joy.
It's the two wolves. You remember? I mean, that's
Evil.
it.
Like you can't. There's not many ways you can see life. Either you see it with an evil, angry, however toward people, or you don't.
You got to put on the right lens each day. Because if you choose love, if you choose understanding, then that's what you'll see in the world around you. But if you choose regret, if you choose anxiety, if you choose worry and hate, that stuff's going to come out into your world as well. So we get to choose.
That's why. That's why I keep myself away from negative people, because I know what it's like being negative.
And that's what the biggest thing I think that some of us, and Will and I have done this several times in our lives, and I'm sure it won't be the last time that we do it. But sometimes there's things that are going to happen in our personal life, in our work life, and different arenas that we are involved in, and we have the power to walk away. We don't have to engage everything.
We do not.
And if you have a certain skill set, or if you when you are confident in yourself, you can take your abilities and go wherever you want to go.
You can.
And you don't have to get pigeonholed into a bad situation that takes away from your peace of mind. And there's millions of us that do that. They stay into just bad situations just because they feel like they're scared to take that step and go somewhere else.
Yes, sir.
And
Period.
That's one of the.
Hey, but got to give it from the only point of view I know, which is religious. You have to be able to step out on faith, and a lot of people have faith, but don't believe in stepping out on faith.
Right. It's only when
So,
it's convenient.
It was.
It's
I did it, but I was sick. With Jake Sweeney. Oh man, I was sick mentally. Yeah. I was sick.
Right.
And still healing. My brain and my body was still healing. So I kept myself in a bad situation.
I think that a lot of us, how do you hold on? And this is something that I know both you and I have been tested on as of late, and we both try to pick each other up with circumstances that happen. But how do you hold on to positivity when people negatively come at you for your beliefs, your views, or things that you do in your everyday life? How do you keep a positive outlook?
That is the only way I can achieve the things that I'm trying to achieve in life.
Do you walk away when you can?
I have to walk away.
Are you becoming better at it?
I know what. It's not becoming better at it.
Because you used to be a confrontational
It's
person like
when you
myself.
made that decision to stop, I made a decision to not. Either you're going to feel my wrath or you wasn't.
Right.
And I made a decision to, no one has to feel that wrath anymore. Because, I really see past negative.
You and I both have to find common ground with ourselves sometimes, because I know for a fact we both slip back into some bad reactions.
Oh,
I want to put bad reactions. You have to forgive yourself for those bad reactions, don't you?
You're going to have an emotion.
Yeah.
You have to have an emotion about things. But it's how are you going to react about that emotion?
Right.
I have never reacted off an emotion I had about something that could jeopardize that dollar for what I'm trying to do in life.
Right.
It's that simple. Are you going to have a reaction? You better have a reaction. But how are you going to react?
Yeah.
My reaction be, hey, let's go outside and talk.
Yeah.
Grab one other brothers, let's go outside and talk.
Yeah.
Because I can't have a reaction that I used to have.
Because then we ultimately we don't find any common ground with anything. We create another problem.
And that's the great thing about life, when you
don't create
when you
more
just
problems.
Be real with it. What are you gonna do? What you're not gonna do in life?
Yeah.
And there's no, I didn't know. It was once upon a time. I had, my mouth was reckless.
Oh, I'm sure. I couldn't. I had a hard time shutting up
to where I had to hear my wife and sister and daughter I don't talk like that toward them anymore and use certain words when I'm mad and things like that.
I'm hearing my grandmother right now. You get more bees with honey.
Seriously, and I'm just like, because I don't want to hurt nobody. I don't hurt enough people in my life.
I don't want to hurt it. Yeah. When you cause people pain, especially those that you love, you remember that. You remember the feeling that you caused them, and it's definitely something that you don't want to continue to emulate with anyone that's currently in your life.
Life more beautiful when you can do whatever you want to do because you're doing the things that you need to do on a daily.
Yeah.
That's why you'll be moving to another state here soon. But let's go ahead and get this going, bro.
All right. Let's wrap it up.
We live in a nation that allows people to have their own mind. Freedom of expression is everyone's right. And find common ground and respecting different views. Everyone won't always agree. The key is to listen to others with understanding, and you may not agree, but you can learn something new.
There's things that I've been in a business for a very long time, and certain things start to, I'm very easily distracted at times when I let myself be. I get to a point where I get emotional, and I one thing doesn't go the way I think it should. I then create another problem, and therefore on Monday I shut down, and I had to leave work. I mean, it was like, I could no longer stay there because I just was making myself sick. I was physically making myself
He had
ill.
an emotion and he reacted on it.
Yeah.
But that won't happen again because you realize and acknowledge what was going on with you. You just couldn't catch yourself before.
Yeah, and it was Saturday, not Monday.
Saturday?
Yeah,
okay, well,
Saturday.
thank you, brother.
Anyway,
I just had a great day that day, too. So
you did. But then you bounce back and you get your head right and you realize what you're trying to do. But again, I still, even as much as I strive to be as optimistic and happy and loving as I can be, I still fall back into some unhealthy patterns, and that's reacting poorly to situations, which therein causes me to, lose days of my life to this feeling because it just envelops us. So it's just a reminder that we're the wardens of our own prison, and a lot of us continue to stay locked up. And I visit my prison, and I don't want to be in that cell. I don't want to be in there. But I was there for a day, and some of us stay there.
And that day could have cost you a week.
Yeah.
Of being here longer, but it is what it is.
Right.
So, thank you all for listening to Hustle and Heart, where we give you real talk from real people out here living life for real. I'm your host, William Hustle, and I'm here.
Our common ground
with Big Pat.
Our common ground will always be love. And I love all of you. And we will talk to you this next week.
And if you like what you've heard, please subscribe and share. You can head over to williamlyles.today to stay connected. Remember that when you know who you are, you can be free anywhere.
Anywhere.
One.
Get it?